Dear students, in today's lecture, let's make an attempt to know about soil sampling and testing. Introduction. Soil is the main source of nutrients for crops. Soil also provides support for plant growth in various ways. Knowledge about soil health and its maintenance is critical for sustainable crop productivity. The health of soils can be assessed by the quality and crops grown on them. However, this is general assessment made by the farmers. A scientific assessment is possible through detailed physical, chemical and biological analysis of the soils. As soil characteristics can vary significantly from one place to another. Even in a small garden or field, taking samples everywhere in the field is crucial for determination of nutrients and other organisms. Thus, soil samples have to be drawn from different places of the field and subjected for testing to know the properties. Sampling and testing of soil is beneficial to formulate the plan for application of manures and fertilizers following growing season. Soil sampling. The quantity of the soil sample plays a key role in determining the practical value of test results. Most soil testing laboratories provide documentation outlining the proper procedures for collecting soil samples. Sampling implements must be cleaned prior to sampling and must be cleaned between samples to avoid cross-contamination. Further, it is recommended that soil samples should be drawn from tillage depth, as majority of the nutrients are placed mechanically. The presence of various nutrients and other soil components varies during the year. Hence, sample timing is also being important. Sampling tools: spade or agar, kurfi, core sampler, sampling bags, plastic tray or bucket. Points to be considered for drawing soil samples: collect soil samples during fallow period, collect soil samples between rows in the standing crop, draw soil samples at several locations in a zigzag pattern for homogeneity. Fields which are similar in appearance, production and past management practices can be grouped into a single sampling unit. Collect separate samples from fields that differ in color, slope, drainage, past management practices like liming, gypsum application, fertilization, cropping system, etc. Avoid sampling in dead furrows, wet spots, areas near main bund, trees, manure heaps and irrigation channels. For shallow rooted crops, collect samples up to 15 cm depth. For deep rooted crops, collect samples up to 30 cm depth. For tree crops, collect profile samples. Always collect soil samples in presence of the farm owner who knows the farm better. Procedure: divide the field into different homogeneous units based on the visual observation and farmer's experience. Remove the surface litter at the sampling spot. Drive the agar to a flow depth of 15 cm and draw the soil sample. Collect at least 10 to 15 samples from each sampling unit and place in a bucket or tray. If agar is not available, make a V-shaped cut to a depth of 15 cm in the sampling spot using spade. Remove thick slice of soil from top to bottom of exposed face of the V-shaped cut and place in a clean container. Mix the samples thoroughly and remove foreign materials like roots, stones, pebbles and gravels. Reduce the bulk of the sample to about 250 to 500 gram by quartering or compartmentalization. Quartering is done by dividing the thoroughly mixed sample into 4 equal parts. The 2 opposite quarters are discarded and the remaining 2 quarters are remixed, and the process has to be repeated until the desired sample size is obtained. Compartmentalization is done by uniformly spreading the soil over a clean hard surface and dividing into smaller components by drawing lines along and across the length and breadth. From each compartment, a pinch of soil is collected. This process is repeated till the desired quantity of sample is obtained. Collect the sample in a clean cloth or polythene bag. Label the bag with information like name of the farmer, location of the farm, survey number, previous crop grown, present crop, crop to be grown in the next season, date of collection, name of the sampler, etc. Collection of soil samples from a profile. After the profile has been exposed, clean one face of the pit carefully with a spade and note the succession and depth of each horizon. Prick the surface with a knife or edge of the spade to show up structure, color and compactness. Collect samples starting from the bottommost horizon first by holding a large basin at the bottom limit of the horizon while the soil above is loosened by a kurfi. Mix the sample and transfer to a polythene or cloth bag and label it. Processing and storage. Assign the sample number and enter it in the laboratory soil sample register. Dry the sample collected from the field in shade by spreading on a clean sheet of paper after breaking the large lumps if present. Spread the soil on a paper or polythene sheet on a hard surface and powder the sample by breaking the clods to its ultimate soil particle using a wooden mallet. Sieve the soil material through 2 mm sieve. Repeat the powdering and sieving until only of greater than 2 mm no soil or clod are left on the sieve. Collect the material passing through the sieve and store in a clean glass or plastic container or polythene bag with proper labeling for laboratory analysis. For the determination of organic matter, it is desirable to grind a representative subsample and sieve it through 0.2 mm sieve. If the samples are meant for the analysis of micronutrients, utmost care is needed in handling the sample to avoid contamination of iron, zinc and copper. Brass sieves should be avoided and it is better to use stainless steel or polythene materials for collection, processing and storage of samples. Air drying of soils must be avoided if the samples are to be analyzed for nitrate nitrogen and ammonical nitrogen as well as for bacterial count. Field moisture content must be estimated in undried sample or to be preserved in a sealed polythene bag immediately after collection. Estimate the moisture content of sample before every analysis to express the results on dry weight basis. Soil testing. A soil test is the analysis of a soil sample to determine nutrient composition and other characteristics including contaminants. Tests are usually performed to measure fertility and indicate deficiencies that need to be remedied. In most of the soil testing laboratories in India, soil pH, electrical conductivity, oxidizable organic carbon, available nitrogen, available phosphorus and available potassium are determined by chemical analytical methods within a short period. Hence, soil testing is the rapid chemical analysis of a soil to estimate the available nutrient status, reaction and salinity of the soil. The objectives of soil testing are as follows: to estimate the available nutrient status and reaction, that is acidic or alkaline of a soil, to evaluate the fertility status of soils for preparation of soil fertility map. Soil fertility map can be used for delineating areas of nutrients sufficiency or deficiency, studying soil fertility pattern due to crop cultivation over a period of years, determining nutrient requirement for the deficient areas, etc. Estimating the requirement of fertilizer, lime and gypsum. Analytical methods. The following estimations are generally carried out in soil testing laboratory. Physical properties: soil color, soil texture, soil moisture, water holding capacity. Chemical properties: pH, cation exchange capacity, electrical conductivity, organic carbon, available nitrogen, available phosphorus, available potassium, available calcium and magnesium, available sulfur. Physical properties: soil color. Soil color depends on the content of organic matter in soil. Soils which are black color have relatively higher content of organic matter than light colored soils. Soil color usually ranges from very pale brown through intermediate brown to very dark brown or black as organic matter increases. The red color of soil is generally attributed to anhydrite iron oxide, the yellow color due to iron oxides, the grey and whitish color due to several substances like quartz, kaolin and other clay minerals, carbonates of lime, magnesium, gypsum, various salts and components of ferrous iron. Soil texture: weigh 50 gram of oven dried fine textured soil, that is 100 gram for coarse textured soil, into a baffle stirring cup. Half fill the cup with distilled water and add 10 milliliter of sodium hexametaphosphate solution. Place the cup on the stirrer and stir until the soil aggregates are broken down. This usually takes 3 to 4 minutes for coarse textured soils and 7 to 8 minutes for fine textured clay. Quantitatively transfer the stirred mixture to the settling cylinder by washing the cup with distilled water. Fill the cylinder to the lower mark with distilled water after placing the hydrometer in the liquid, where 100 gram of coarse textured sample was used. Fill to the upper mark on the settling cylinder. Remove the hydrometer and shake the suspension vigorously in a back and forth manner. Avoid creating circular currents in the liquids as they influence the settling rate. Place the cylinder on a table and record the time. After 20 seconds, carefully insert the hydrometer and read the hydrometer at the end of 40 seconds. Repeat steps as above to obtain hydrometer reading within 0.5 gram difference of each other. The hydrometer reading is calibrated to read grams of soil material in suspension. Record the hydrometer reading. Measure the temperature of suspension. For each degree above 20 degrees centigrade, add 0.36 to the hydrometer reading. For each degree below 20 degrees centigrade, subtract 0.36 from the hydrometer reading. This is the correct hydrometer reading. Reshake the suspension and place the cylinder on the table where it should not be disturbed. Take a hydrometer reading exactly 2 hours later from the percentage of sand, silt and clay calculated on the data sheet. Use the textural triangle diagram to determine the texture class of the soil. Soil moisture. The gravimetric method of soil moisture estimation is most widely used, where the soil sample is placed in an oven at 105 degrees centigrade and dried to a constant weight. The difference in weight is considered to be the water present in the soil sample. Procedure for determining soil moisture. Put 100 gram of soil sample in the aluminum moisture box and place in the oven after removing the lid of the box. Keep the sample at 105 degrees centigrade until attains constant weight. This may take 24 to 36 hours. Cool the sample first in the switched off oven and then in a desiccators. Weigh the cooled sample. The loss in weight is equal to the moisture contained in 10 gram soil sample. Water holding capacity. The water holding capacity is the amount of water held in the soil after the excess gravitational water has drained away and after the rate of downward movement of water has materially ceased. The stage of field capacity is attained in the field after 48 to 72 hours of saturation. It is the uppermost limit of available soil moisture for plants. The procedure for determining water holding capacity. Select a uniform plot measuring 5 meter by 5 meter. Remove weeds, pebbles, etc. and make bunds around the plot. Fill the plot with sufficient water to saturate the soil completely. Cover the plot area with a polythene sheet in order to check evaporation. Take soil sample from the center of the plot from the desired layer, starting after 24 hours of saturation, and determine the moisture content daily until the values of successive days are nearly equal. Chemical properties. Soil pH. Soil pH is the negative logarithm of the active hydrogen ion concentration in the soil solution. It is the measure of soil acidity or neutrality. It is a simple but very important estimation of soil, as soil pH has a considerable influence on the availability of nutrients to crops. It affects microbial population of soils. Most nutrient elements are available in the pH range of 5.5 to 6.5. Procedure for measuring soil pH. Calibrate the pH meter using two buffer solutions. One should be the buffer with neutral pH, that is 7, and the other should be chosen based on the range of pH in the soil. Put the buffer solution in the beaker, insert the electrode in the beakers containing two buffer solutions and adjust the pH. The instrument indicating as per the buffers is ready to test the samples. Place 100 gram of soil sample into a 50 or 100 milliliter beakers. Add 20 milliliter of calcium chloride solution. Use water instead of calcium chloride solution throughout the procedure where water is used as a suspension medium. Allow the soil to absorb calcium chloride solution without stirring and then stir thoroughly for 10 seconds using glass rod. Stir the suspension for 30 minutes and record pH on the calibrated pH meter based on the soil pH values. Cation exchange capacity. Weigh accurately 5 gram of soil and transfer the sample to a 50 milliliter centrifuge tube. Add 25 milliliter of 1 molar sodium acetate solution to the tube. Insert the stopper and shake in mechanical shaker for 5 minutes. Centrifuge at 2000 RPM, that is revolution per minute, for 5 minutes until the supernatant liquid is clear. Decant the liquid completely and repeat the extraction 3 more times and discard decant. Repeat the above steps with ethanol or isopropyl alcohol until the electrical conductivity of the decant reads less than 40 millisiemens per centimeter. It usually takes 4 to 5 washings. To displace the adsorbed sodium, repeat steps 2 to 4 using ammonium acetate solution. Collect the decant in a 100 milliliter volumetric flask fitted with funnel and filter paper. Make up to volume with ammonium acetate solution. To determine the sodium concentration by flame photometry, prepare a series of sodium standard solutions in the range of 0 to 10 milliequivalent per liter of sodium. Prepare a standard curve by plotting sodium concentrate on the x-axis and the flame photometric readings on the y-axis. Feed an unknown sample extract onto the flame photometer and take the reading corresponding to which the concentration of a sodium is read from the standard curve. For better results, add lithium chloride in each standard to yield a final concentration of about 5 milliequivalent per liter of lithium chloride. Electrical conductivity. Soils contain small amounts of various soluble salts. These salts present in soils dissociate interior respective cations and anions come in soil solution. These cations and anions carry current and impart conductivity. Higher the concentration of ions in solution, more is the electrical conductance. Thus, the measurement of electrical conductivity can be directly related to the soluble salt concentration. It follows Ohm's law. Procedure. Weigh 20 gram of soil into a 50 milliliter beaker and add 25 milliliter of distilled water. Stir intermittently with glass rod for 30 minutes. Measure the electrical conductivity of the suspension by using conductivity bridge. Organic carbon. There are various methods for estimating organic matter in soil. Loss of weight on ignition can be used as a direct measure of the organic matter contained in the soil. It can also be expressed as the content of organic carbon in the soil. It is generally assumed that on an average, organic matter contains about 58% of organic carbon. Organic matter or organic carbon can also be estimated by volumetric and calorimetric methods. Procedure. Weigh 5 to 10 gram, that is to the nearest 0.01 gram of sieved 2 millimeter soil into ashing vessel, that is 50 milliliter beaker or other suitable vessel. Place the ashing vessel with soil in a drying oven set at 105 degree centigrade and dried for 4 hours. Remove the ashing vessel from the drying oven and place in a drying atmosphere. When cooled, weigh to the nearest 0.01 gram. Place the ashing vessel with soil into a muffle furnace and bring the temperature to 400 degrees centigrade. Ash in the furnace for 4 hours. Remove the ashing vessel from the muffle furnace, cool in a dry atmosphere and weigh to the nearest 0.01 gram. Available nitrogen. Total nitrogen includes all forms of inorganic nitrogen such as ammonia, nitrate, urea, and the organic nitrogen compounds such as proteins, amino acids and other derivatives. Depending on the form of nitrogen present in a particular sample, a specific method is to be determined for total nitrogen value. Procedure: weigh 5 gram of soil and transfer to a distillation tube. Program the nitrogen distillation unit to add 10 milliliter of distilled water, 25 milliliter of 0.32% potassium permanganate and 25 milliliter of 2.5% sodium hydroxide solution to the distillation tube and 25 milliliter of 4% boric acid containing mixed indicator to receiving flask, and also set the time for distillation and then press run to start the distillation process. After the distillation process is completed, take out the receiving flask and titrate it against 0.02 normal sulfuric acid till the red color appears. Remove the distillation tube from the instrument and clean, then place it in the tube holder. Available phosphorus. Procedure for extraction: weigh 5 gram of soil and transfer it to a 250 milliliter conical flask. Add 50 milliliter of brace extractant to the soil. Shake the contents of the flask for exactly 5 minutes and filtrate through Wattman number 42 filter paper. Prepare a blank in which all the reagents are added similarly except the soil. Procedure for colorimetric estimation: pipette out 5 milliliter of the soil extract into a 25 milliliter volumetric flask. Pipette out 0, 0.5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 milliliter of 5 ppm phosphorus solution into different 25 milliliter volumetric flasks. Add 5 ml of extracting solution to each of the phosphorus standard solutions only. Add 5 milliliter of ammonium molybdate solution to the entire flask. Soil and phosphorus standards. Mix thoroughly the contents of the flask with about 5 milliliter of distilled water. Wash the neck of the flask down to remove the adhering ammonium molybdate. Add 1 milliliter of working stannous chloride solution and make up the volume up to mark using distilled water and mix the contents thoroughly. Measure the intensity of blue color developed at 660 nanometer using spectrophotometer after setting absorbance to 0 with blank solution. Plot a standard curve using the absorbance readings of the standards on the y-axis against the concentration in ppm of P phosphorus on the x-axis on a graph paper. Locate the concentration of phosphorus corresponding to soil sample absorbance value in the graph and use this value for the calculation. Available potassium. Standard curve preparation: pipette out 0, that is blank, 2.5, 5 and 7.5 and 10 milliliter of working potassium standard solution into 25 milliliter volumetric flasks and make up the volume by using neutral normal ammonium acetate solution. This will correspond to 0, 10, 20, 30 and 40 ppm potassium solutions respectively. Adjust the flame photometer reading to read 0 with blank solution and 100 with 40 ppm potassium solution, then take readings for other concentrations. Plot the curve by taking flame photometer reading on y-axis and potassium concentration in ppm on x-axis. Procedure for estimation: weigh 5 gram of soil and transfer it to a 250 milliliter of conical flask. Add 25 milliliter of neutral 1 normal ammonium acetate solution to the flask and shake the contents on an electric shaker for 5 minutes. Filter the contents using Wattman number 1 filter paper. Record the reading of the filtrate in the flame photometer. After recording reading for standards. Locate the concentration of potassium corresponding to the soil sample reading in the graph and use this value for the calculation. Available calcium and magnesium. Procedure for extraction. Weigh 100 gram of given soil sample and transfer to 250 milliliter conical flask. Add 50 milliliter of neutral 1 normal ammonium acetate to the soil sample. Shake the contents for 30 minutes using electrical shaker and filter the content. Use this filtrate for the estimation of calcium and calcium plus magnesium. Procedure for estimation. Calcium. Take a suitable aliquot from the neutral normal ammonium extract in a china clay dish, that is 5 ml, and dilute to 20 milliliter. Adjust pH to 10 by adding 5 milliliter of buffer complex solution. Add pinch of muriaxide indicator. Titrate against 0.01 normal ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid till color changes from pink to violet. Calcium plus magnesium. Take a suitable aliquot from the neutral normal ammonium extract in a china clay dish 5 ml and dilute to 20 milliliter. Add 5 milliliter or sufficient quantity of 10% sodium hydroxide solution to attain a pH of 12. Add few drops of Erichrome block T indicator. Titrate against 0.01 normal EDTA till color changes from pink to violet, blue, and note down the titer value. Available sulfur. Preparation of standard curve. Take 0, 2.5, 5, 10, 15 and 20 milliliter of 100 ppm sulfur solution in separate 50 milliliter volumetric flask. Add 1 milliliter acid seed solution, that is 20 ppm sulfur in 6 normal SCl hydrochloric acid, 10 milliliter extractant and 1 milliliter stabilizing reagent to each volumetric flask. Add to each 1 gram barium chloride crystals and make up the volume to 50 milliliter. Record the turbidity at 420 nanometer wavelength using spectrophotometer. Plot the turbidity against the concentrations of these solutions and draw the curve. Extraction and estimation from soil sample. Take 100 gram of soil into a 250 milliliter conical flask and 50 milliliter of sodium acetate and acetic acid buffer. Shake the contents for 30 minutes and filter the contents. Pipette out 10 milliliter of the filtrate into a 50 milliliter volumetric flask. Add 1 milliliter of acid seed solution and 1 milliliter of stabilizing reagent. Add 1 gram of barium chloride crystals, shake it and make up the volume to 50 milliliter. Read the turbidity of this solution within 10 minutes at 420 nanometer. Compare the unknown sample turbidity with standard curve and calculate the amount of sulfur present in the given soil. Thus, it can be inferred that soil serves as an anchorage and storehouse of nutrients necessary for growth and development of plants or crops. Hence, soil samples have to be drawn and tested for physical, chemical and biological properties by adopting proper procedures to know their nutritional status in order to supplement the nutrients through manures and fertilizers for improving the fertility and productivity of soils.